Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be talking about Queen and Cater, who shall be receiving their C90s with the upcoming Queen's Lost chapter. Now with Queen is going to be getting a small change to her LD ability, and then Cater will finally be getting her LD weapon. But are they worth pulling for in the upcoming banner? We're going to be talking about specifically what these two characters are going to be bringing to the table via the slides that I have provided and set up for you guys for this video. And then towards the end of the video, I'll let you guys know whether or not it is worth picking up any of these two characters in the should you proportion of the video. So as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Opera Omnia content. Let me know what your plans are for these two characters in the upcoming banner. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it and talk about Queen, Cater, and then if you should pull for any of these two characters. So we'll first start off with looking at Queen's rework, which her rework only affects her LD boards. So she gets a 60% attack up, and whenever you use her LD ability, it now turns into a 5-hit AoE melee brave plus an AoE HP attack 2 times. Her LD buff got increased by 2 actions, and after HP attacks, she recovers brave to herself based on 20% of the total HP damage dealt, which only occurs once per turn. So basically, at any moment that you are using Queen and you use any of her abilities, she will now be able to recover some brave to herself, which is great. But if you use one of her attacks during after you use her EX ability that gives her instant turn rate, then this effect won't kick in. It'll only kick in for the first time, and that's it. Now, whenever you have her EX passive equipped, she gains the following: a 30% brave damage dealt up, a 20% brave gained received up, a 20% stolen and recovered brave overflow up. Now, when her EX extension is equipped, it now turns into a 4-hit AoE melee brave plus a single target HP attack 2 times with an increase in brave potency. When using Devastate, it now turns into a 4-hit melee brave plus an HP attack 4 times with an increase in brave potency, and it recovers brave in between HP attacks except on the last based on 50% of the HP damage dealt. Her overhead also got an improvement, making it so that she gets additional attack up with her attack up effect, so now it'll be at 120%, and her HP damage dealt up was increased to 30%. Previously it was 20%. Next up is Cater. Now with Cater, when the EX passive is equipped, she now gains a 50% brave damage dealt up and a 20% stolen brave overflow up. Her EX extension now turns her EX ability into a 4-hit AoE magic brave plus an AoE HP attack 4 times with an increase in brave potency. Her C65 got an additional usage. It now deals 4 brave hits with an increase in brave potency and adds a 30% attack up and max brave damage cap up. Her LD ability, which has 3 uses, is a 5-hit Ice AoE brave plus an HP attack 4 times that deals split HP damage. On the first attack, it inflicts the Ice Resist Down debuff, and on the last HP attack, it inflicts the brand new Frost Stilling Shot debuff to all targets. She also grants a new buff to herself called Magic Loaded. Now the debuff Frost Stilling Shot is a frame debuff that is Setzer's freeze ability, but it also includes a 20% brave damage taken up. So for those who missed out on Setzer in the past, you basically not really have another opportunity, but you have somebody else that also has that freeze ability or that freeze debuff onto the enemy. So Cater does, for Cater, having that in her LD ability as a debuff is actually really solid because of the fact that, she has her evasion and whatnot in her overall kit though, but that debuff will be able to not only help herself but also her teammate because of that 20% brave damage taken up. Now the buff Magic Loaded grants the following to Cater: a 30% stolen brave overflow up, Ice Enchant, a 40% brave damage dealt up, a 20% HP damage dealt up. It turns her charged shot into charged shot charge level 1, and it turns her wide shot into wide shot charge level 1. Now, if either of these two abilities are not used, then it changes into their max charge versions on her following turn. Now, the charge shot, charge level 1, does the following. It's a 4-hit ice ranged brave plus an HP attack 2 times. It increases the brave damage dealt by 20% when dealing critical brave damage. After the attack, she recovers brave to herself based on 30% of the total HP damage dealt, and it does have a high turn rate. Now, the charge shot max charge gets the last two things listed above, except that it does get an additional 2 HP dumps, being a total of 4 HP dumps, and it fills her own recast gauge by 20%. Her wide shot charge level 1 is a 3-hit AoE ranged brave plus a single target HP attack. It increases the brave damage dealt by 20% when dealing critical brave damage, and it deals 80% splash damage to other targets. Now, the wide shot max charge deals 2 HP dumps instead of 1. It deals 100% splash HP damage, and it fills her own EX recast gauge by 20%. So now we get to the point of the video where you guys decide whether or not it is worth pulling for either Queen or Cater in the upcoming banner. So we're going to start off with Queen. Now, I think by now a lot of players, aside from any new players, pretty much know that with Queen, she is a big aura boss. She provides a lot of auras to the party. Some of the ones to pay attention to would be the HP damage up 20%. She prevents KO as long as you have more than 50% of your max HP. And she also has HP damage resist up. And she has many more auras that she provides to the party. Aside from that though, I mean, like a small little rework to her LD was nice. And with her C90 now, her C90 makes her attacks much stronger. Even though one out of the 2 skills after you use her EX ability was not messed with, it's still pretty much a very viable change to her EX ability, or at least like to the Devastate attack, only because like that's just more damage that Queen is going to be dishing out onto the enemies. So if you need yourself a very good aura bot that provides some pretty solid auras to the party, and you know, kind of like to add on top of like say what your support character is already doing, then Queen is definitely a good option. Though I probably see a lot of players are probably going to hold off on Queen for those who did not pick her up the first time, only because Lude or Lloyd, however you pronounce his name, he is going to be coming up here in the next couple of days, and he provides some very good party auras as well, and does a whole bunch of other things. But one key note to note about these two characters is that even though Lude does have some very good party auras and whatnot, like one of the biggest things with Queen is definitely the fact that she can prevent your party from dying as long as they have more than 50% of their HP. That's the one big thing that I do like about Queen that they gave her. So again, if you need yourself like some another character with party auras that can add on top of what your other characters are providing, then yeah, she's definitely worth picking up in my opinion. Now with Cater, the one thing that I love about Cater is definitely going to be that debuff from her LD ability, making it so that it prevents the enemy from gaining any type of brave. Oh, pretty much it sets her freeze ability, but that debuff that she inflicts makes it so that you deal extra brave damage onto the enemy. So for those who love their debuffs and want their hands on a debuff that is able to increase the amount of brave damage that you're dishing out onto the enemies, then Cater's debuff from her LD ability is actually not a bad option. Now, the small little con that I do have about her is the fact that her evasion rate is not a 100%. It is 80% if I'm not mistaken. So that means that you still have a small chance of getting hit with Cater. But at the same time though, even if you do get hit though, she does have a counter that kicks in, I believe, after she evades an attack. So I mean, that's like one plus side to it. Afterwards, it's nice that Cater does have some additional attacks with her LD ability as well, being what the charge shot and the wide shot, especially if you don't use them and you use them on the following turn, you basically get the maximum version of them, which is nice because it also helps in charging up your EX recast gauge as well. So, you know, that's another add-on to it whenever you use Cater in your team comps. But I do feel like she definitely needs a little bit of support, maybe some Brave gain, maybe some additional Brave damage up, so that way she can dish out as much damage as she can whenever she is doing a follow-up attack or counter, you know, etc., etc. But aside from that, though, like when it comes to usage in JP, for me myself, I didn't really use Cater hardly at all in team comps. My main uses for her was definitely as a call ability, because that freeze debuff is actually pretty handy. Because like if say I run out of uses from Setsu's freeze from his call ability, then I have a backup, which would be Cater, or you know, for those who are needing a freeze type of debuff, then Cater is definitely not a bad option to pick up for if you do have the extra resources, and if you don't mind throwing some tickets and trying to get Cater's LD weapon. But other than that, though, guys, that's pretty much going to be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and let me know what your plans are going to be for these two characters in the upcoming banner. But other than that, if you guys did enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Opera Omnia content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in my next video.